Accredited zoos like Lincoln Park Zoo play many roles in today's world, assisting animals both in human care and in the wild, connecting people with nature, and helping humans coexist with wildlife. One of the important conservation efforts zoos participate in is something you may have heard of, reintroduction. But this type of work is not easy. It's extremely complex. And for saving species, it's usually the last resort. But the Alexander Center for Applied Population Biology here at the zoo helps bolster the chances for reintroduction success everywhere. Zoos have participated in a number of successful reintroduction efforts over the decades. Species like California condors, black-footed ferrets, red wolves, and Wyoming toads would not exist in the wild today without zoo programs to breed and reestablish them. Lincoln Park Zoo has contributed animals for release programs for species like trumpeter swans in Iowa, ornate box turtles and smooth green snakes in Illinois, and red wolves in the southeastern United States. But the Alexander Center also uses science to help these types of recovery programs. One great example is the critically endangered Puerto Rican parrot, which are native to the Caribbean island of Puerto Rico, an island ecosystem. Islands are some of the world's most biodiverse yet vulnerable areas. In this case, extreme habitat loss, as well as being hunted for food, pest control measures, and the pet trade decimated the bird's population to just 13 individuals left in the wild by the mid-1970s. However, conservation partners banded together to save the last birds in hopes of future reintroduction. The United States Fish and Wildlife Service and the Puerto Rico Department of Natural and Environmental Resources eventually established 2 breeding centers in Puerto Rico to bring up their numbers and provide birds for release. Reintroduction takes a lot of time, money, and labor from multiple organizations. Managers make sure they know enough of the natural history of these animals to help them thrive in human care, often taking years to develop husbandry strategies needed to successfully reproduce. They have to conduct field research and management activities to ensure the original causes of population decline are addressed, identify release sites that have appropriate food and shelter, and train animals for release with things like flight and anti-predator training. Then, they must continue to release and monitor species over years and decades to ensure that animals survive, reproduce, and population begins to stabilize. But Puerto Rican parrot conservationists received some help from Lincoln Park Zoo's Alexander Center starting in the mid-2000s. The team here focuses on analyzing and then supporting reintroduction programs, not just the zoos, but ones at other institutions. This involves recommending breeding pairs and creating population viability analyses, or PVA. A PVA is a computer model that looks at all the factors that goes into survival of a species over the next 100 years, including successful nesting seasons and high rates, plus potential disasters like hurricanes that can impact the future of a species. Population viability analyses inform management decisions that must be implemented during reintroduction attempts. They can help managers decide how many animals to release, how often releases should happen, and what other actions can help the species, helping managers think through the trade-offs for their program. With Puerto Rican parrots, the model showed that boosting reproductive success was important, and managers may try to do this by adding artificial nest cavities to the forest so that pairs have plenty of choices during nesting season. Unfortunately, all reintroduced animal populations must overcome many challenges. Puerto Rican parrots faced hurricanes Irma and Maria in 2017, which decimated their wild populations. Still, a lot of very hard work increased their numbers at last. Today, there are hundreds of these birds in aviaries and in the wild. However, the work is far from complete. Making sure a population is robust and strong enough to weather the threats in its environment takes time, and the parrots still need help. But reintroduction can be worth the investment. The process of recovering one charismatic species also helps protect and grow the habitat it lives in, with all the other animals and plants that exist there. By acting as scientific advisors for reintroduction projects, the team at the Alexander Center helps so many more species than the zoo can house. And through the Alexander Center, Lincoln Park Zoo is doing its part to make sure reintroductions can succeed.